General Kira Voss had been at war for 3 years, fighting the Draxian Empire across 12 star systems. And in those 3 years, she'd learned one absolute truth. Never underestimate an enemy who has nothing left to lose. The Draxian High Command was about to learn that lesson the hard way. General Voss, Commander Thextala's holographic image flickered in the war room, her reptilian features twisted in what passed for a Draxian smile. "We are offering you one final chance to surrender. Your fleet is outnumbered 5 to 1. Your supply lines are cut. Your allies have abandoned you. Humans simply cannot win wars against superior forces. It is mathematics, not opinion." Kira looked at the tactical display. Thexala wasn't wrong about the numbers. The human fleet was battered, exhausted, running on fumes and spite. But the Draxian commander had made one critical error. She'd assumed humans fought wars the same way Draxians did, with logic, with strategy, with concern for casualties and cost-benefit analysis. "Commander Thexala," Kira said calmly, "has anyone ever told you about Earth's military history? Your primitive conflicts, we have studied them. Chaos, inefficiency, emotional decision-making leading to massive casualties. This is why humans lose. We've lost battles. We've never lost a war we decided to finish. There's a difference." Kira leaned forward. "And you're about to learn what happens when humans stop fighting nice." Thexala's laugh was like grinding glass. "Threats from a defeated species. Predictable. You have 48 hours to surrender, General Voss. After that, we destroy your remaining ships and claim Earth as a Draxian colony. This war is over." The transmission ended. Kira's second-in-command, Colonel James Park, exhaled slowly. "She's right about the numbers, General. We can't win a conventional engagement. We're outgunned, outnumbered." "Conventional engagement," Kira repeated, a dangerous smile spreading across her face. "James, when has humanity ever fought conventionally when our backs were against the wall? What are you planning? Something the Draxians won't expect. Something illogical, inefficient, and absolutely insane. Get me Admiral Chun, Captain Rodriguez, and the entire Special Operations Division. We've got 48 hours to teach the Draxians why you don't corner a species that evolved by out-thinking predators." 24 hours later, the Draxian fleet held position around the human stronghold at Titan Station, waiting for the inevitable surrender. They had superior numbers, superior weapons, superior everything. Victory was a mathematical certainty. Then the humans did something impossible. They attacked. Not a probing strike. Not a desperate last stand. A full offensive, every remaining ship, straight into the heart of the Draxian formation. Suicide by any logical calculation. "They're insane?" Thexala's tactical officer reported. "They're committing their entire fleet! They have no chance!" "Destroy them?" Thexala ordered, confused but confident. "Show these humans what happens when emotion overrides logic." The battle lasted 7 minutes. In those 7 minutes, the human fleet was torn apart. Ships exploded, hulls breached, crew lost to the void. Exactly as predicted. Exactly as planned. Because while the Draxian fleet was busy destroying the human ships, they weren't watching what those ships were really doing. Each human vessel, in its death throes, had launched something. Not weapons. Not escape pods. Something else, small, fast, undetectable until they'd already penetrated the Draxian defensive perimeter. "General," the Draxian sensor officer's voice cracked with sudden panic. "We have infiltration! Thousands of small craft have breached our formation! They're landing on our ships!" Thexala's blood ran cold. "All ships, internal security, repel boarders!" But it was already too late. The human special forces had done what no conventional fleet could. They'd traded their ships for delivery vehicles, and now 2,000 of Earth's most dangerous soldiers were inside the Draxian fleet, cutting through corridors, taking engineering sections, seizing control of weapon systems. "This is impossible." Thexala watched her tactical display descend into chaos. "No species fights like this. No commander sacrifices their entire fleet for a boarding action. Humans do," came a new voice over her comm. General Kira Voss, broadcasting from somewhere inside Thexala's own flagship. "When you have nothing left to lose, you stop playing by the rules. You told me we couldn't win a conventional war. You were right. So we stopped fighting conventionally." Explosions rocked the Draxian flagship. Thexala pulled up internal sensors and saw the nightmare unfolding. Human soldiers, outnumbered 20 to 1 on every ship, were winning through sheer audacity and brutal efficiency. They weren't trying to take prisoners. They weren't following rules of engagement. They were ghosts in the corridors, striking from shadows, using the Draxians' own surprise and confusion against them. "Your crew is trying to fight us in close quarters," Kira's voice continued, almost conversational. "That's a mistake. Draxians evolved on a world with low gravity and thin atmosphere. You're tall, fast, built for open spaces. Humans, we evolved in caves, tight corridors, close combat. We've been fighting in confined spaces for 100,000 years. This is our environment, not yours. A Draxian security team burst onto Thexiala's bridge, weapons raised, ready to defend their commander. They managed 3 steps before human soldiers dropped from the ceiling vents, moved from behind consoles, appeared from positions that shouldn't have been possible to hide in. The Draxian team was down in seconds. "We also have something you don't," Kira said, and Thexiala spun to find the human general standing behind her command chair, having somehow infiltrated her own bridge. "We have spite. You wanted to colonize Earth, enslave humanity, treat us like we're primitive and weak. That made us angry. And angry humans are the most dangerous things in the galaxy." Thexiala reached for her sidearm. Kira shot it out of her hand without looking, her weapon trained on the Draxian commander while she simultaneously directed her forces through her neural link. Multitasking that shouldn't be possible. Strategy occurring at speeds that defied Draxian understanding.
Thexiala gasped.
"You were losing!" The numbers said. "Numbers said we'd lose a conventional war," Kira agreed. "So we started an unconventional one. Every ship you destroyed was a delivery system. Every death was a calculated sacrifice. Every moment you thought you were winning, we were positioning. That's what humans do, Commander. We adapt. We improvise. We win by changing the rules." Across the Draxian fleet, the pattern repeated. 30 capital ships infiltrated and taken in under an hour. Weapons turned against their sister ships. Engines sabotaged. Command structures decapitated. The fleet that had been 5 times stronger than humanity's was now tearing itself apart from the inside. "This is a war crime!" Thexiala shouted, desperate. "You cannot. International law forbids. You were planning to colonize our homeworld," Kira said coldly. "Enslave our species. Erase our culture. And you want to talk about law? No, Commander. There are no laws once you threaten extinction. There's only survival. And humans are really, really good at surviving." The battle was over in 90 minutes. The mighty Draxian Fifth Fleet, pride of the Empire, had been reduced to burning wrecks and captured vessels. Human casualties were massive. 70% of the boarding force dead or wounded. Every ship lost. By any traditional metric, it was a Pyrrhic victory at best. But they'd won, against impossible odds, by refusing to fight the way the enemy expected. "You sacrificed thousands?" Thexiala spat as Kira's soldiers secured the bridge. "Your own people? What kind of monster does that?" "The kind who's protecting 7 billion more," Kira replied. Those soldiers knew what they were signing up for. Every single one volunteered. They knew the odds. They knew most of them wouldn't come home. They did it anyway, because that's what humans do when our species is threatened. We sacrifice. We endure. We win. Kira activated the fleet-wide comm, broadcasting to every Draxian ship, every human soldier, every witness to what had just occurred. "This is General Kira Voss of the Human Defense Fleet. The Draxian Fifth Fleet has been neutralized. Commander Thexiala is in custody. Any Draxian vessel that wishes to surrender will be treated according to the Galactic Convention on Warfare. Any vessel that continues hostile action will be destroyed by your own captured ships. You have 5 minutes to decide." The responses came quickly. One by one, Draxian ships lowered their shields and powered down weapons. They'd seen what humans could do when pushed to the edge. They had no desire to learn what came next. Thexiala watched her fleet surrender, her worldview shattering. "You were outnumbered, outgunned, defeated. How could you? Because you made the same mistake everyone makes," Kira said quietly. "You thought being technologically superior meant you'd win. You forgot that wars aren't won by the side with better weapons. They're won by the side that refuses to quit. And humans, we never quit. We just get creative about how we fight back." She gestured to the viewport, where human boarding teams were securing Draxian vessels, where the impossible had become reality. "You laughed at human military history, called it primitive, inefficient, but you know what that history taught us. There's no such thing as a fair fight when you're fighting for survival. There's only winning and losing. And we chose winning." Within 6 hours, news of the Battle of Titan Station had reached the Draxian High Command. The Empire's 5th largest fleet, destroyed not by superior firepower, but by soldiers who turned ships into missiles and turned defeat into the most audacious military victory in modern warfare. The war didn't end immediately, but the Draxian offensive stopped. No more talk of colonizing Earth. No more assumptions about human weakness. The Empire had learned what Earth had been trying to tell them for 3 years. Don't start fights with humans, because we don't fight to win battles. We fight to win wars. And we'll do whatever it takes, Commander Thexiala Sitting in a human detention cell, her fleet destroyed, her career ended, finally understood what General Voss had meant. Humans couldn't win conventional wars against superior forces, so they simply refused to fight conventionally. They changed the rules, accepted terrible costs, and turned their weakness into strength. You could have surrendered, Thexala said when Kira visited her cell. Saved those lives, avoided all that death. Who could have, Kira agreed. But then you would have enslaved my species, killed billions over decades. The soldiers who died today, they saved those billions. They bought Earth 50 more years of freedom. Maybe forever if the Draxian Empire learned its lesson. What lesson? That humans are prey that became predators. We're the species that survived extinction events, ice ages, plagues, and ourselves. We don't know how to give up because giving up means dying, and we're too stubborn to die quietly. Kira turned to leave, then paused. You asked what kind of monster sacrifices thousands to save billions. The answer is simple, Commander. The kind that wins. The kind that survives. The kind you should never have underestimated. She walked away, leaving Thexala with a final thought. Humans had just rewritten military doctrine across 3 systems. They'd proven that numbers meant nothing against determination. That logic failed when faced with creative desperation. That the species everyone dismissed as primitive and emotional could outthink, outfight, and outsurvive anyone. The Draxian Empire would remember the Battle of Titan Station for generations. Not as a human victory, but as the day they learned that the most dangerous species in the galaxy wasn't the one with the biggest guns. It was the one that refused to accept defeat. And that species was humanity. Stubborn, creative, absolutely terrifying humanity. They'd laughed when humans said they'd fight to the last. They weren't laughing anymore. Because the last human was a lot farther away than anyone expected. And between here and there lay nothing but determination, sacrifice, and the absolute refusal to let the galaxy tell them they couldn't win. 48 hours. That's all it took to change everything. 48 hours for humans to prove that mathematics and logic meant nothing against a species that fought with heart. The war would continue. But it would never be the same, because now everyone knew. Humans don't fight fair. Humans fight to win, and that makes all the difference.